This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to Teach Me Pokemon, the podcast. I'm your host, Cory, and along with my co-host, Jared, we're best friends, been playing Pokemon for a very long time.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Teach Me Pokemon. I am Jared. With me, my co-host, Cory. Cory, we have a lot to talk about today, and the digital Pokemon world has forever changed this week.
Why was I getting text messages at 4 a.m. from my friend group, aka you and our buddy Aaron, about like, oh, I downloaded the game, the Pokemon card game thing. I'm like, what on earth? But yeah, I will say this is a good time to plug Stray Collections.
Absolutely.
Because I got a text from our sponsor last night, Ben, because he downloaded this app and got like a Charmander full art. I don't know what he got. And he screenshotted it and sent it to me, and he was very excited. And I was confused on what he was sending me. Now it makes more sense. Now I get it. So, yeah, I mean, what, your whole morning has been this so far?
Yes, I woke up to that text and was reluctantly took my children to school because that meant that was time I could not be on the application, and got home and minimally did chores and sat on my couch until we are now recording.
So, and before we dive into like the competitive scene, all this stuff, tell me why is this app better or different than live? I mean, what makes this enticing?
This is the everyman app for Pokemon.
Okay.
This encompasses very understandable things. It is the gateway drug to every other form of Pokemon. That's the best way I can describe it. That is the best way I can describe it.
Like, kids don't go through the gateway. Don't other things if you're listening to our show, family-friendly show. But I get what you're saying of the gatewayness to it all.
It does card battling, it does card collecting, it has swag, and then of course Pokemon. It's now let's get them to spend money digitally, and that aspect is there now too.
Okay, I want to ask a question about that, but I will say first, it was kind of fun. I think I opened 4 packs or however many they let you do during the awful tutorial that I had to go through, and it was kind of fun to see the cards like go into the Pokédex or whatever you call it. Like I was like, oh, okay, now I need to get all these filled up. So I had that feeling, which was nice. But how can you spend money on? Like, how can you spend real money? Is it just to open more packs?
It's a lot of different things. We'll take a deep dive later in the episode.
Okay, all right, we'll do it later. Okay, well you're playing. You were obsessed this morning. I downloaded it. I played a little bit. Your name, I was a little frustrated. You got to it first. Teach Me Pokemon.
I didn't know if you were gonna go for it. I didn't know.
Well, so then I went with TMP podcast is mine. So you could hit us up, friend request us. I guess you need our numbers.
Yeah, we will get those next episode. Once we're a little more adept, we'll have a big screen. We'll tell you our numbers. We would love to be your friends.
Be our friends on the Pokemon new game. So I like it. All right, where are we starting besides that? Where are we going now?
Well, Cory, we've got to go on a little globe trot over to the Philippines.
We got to go to the Philippines. This is probably the best name of a special event I've seen so far. The Premier Ball League, the Philippines Premier Ball League.
I understand what a Premier Ball is, but I also feel like people were dancing at this event. Like you
saw that?
No, like the Premier Ball.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like that's what it made me think of when I heard the name of the
Bridgerton meets Pokemon. Yeah, that's definitely what it was feeling like. But watching on the screen here, it's behind me. I like the layout. This wasn't your standard Pokemon sanction. It was sanctioned, but not run by TPCI. So what am I trying to say?
The user interface.
The user interface, the UI looks a little different, but I like it. It's cool. I was a fan of it. Obviously, I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but very cool. Glad the Philippines showed up. They're on our standard format for everybody wondering. Sometimes you go to these other countries and they're on different formats. Were you surprised that Lugia took this tournament down?
No, Lugia, I don't particularly like Lugia. You've heard me rail against it many times. In my opinion, every deck has variants, but like there's not coming back from a Lugia bad start because it needs multiple turns to get going, right? Like
Yeah.
if it's turn 3 and you just laid down your Lugia V, you in trouble, my friend. You in real trouble. And that's what's hard. Arceus was the same way. Anything that requires this broken stage 1 V-star move to have a prayer at the game.
Yeah.
But no, clearly we've seen Lugia have a lot of success. It can pop off once it gets going. It's one of the best decks in the format. So I'm not surprised to see it take it down. I just have personal issues with it.
I like, and this isn't in every Lugia build, but the Thornton play, I think, does offer some of that turn 1 awkward protection, because you're 100% right. If they get the Lugia down turn 1, it's going to be a battle. They have the advantage. If they don't, you feel like you are completely in control against. I don't care what deck you're running. You feel really good if they don't drop that Lugia turn 1. With the Thornton play, they could still get that off and then evolve to V-Star and go. Now, using that supporter as a Thornton as opposed to like something that can discard cards or something is rough, but it does still leave Adrian here. It leaves him open for that play, which doesn't mean it's an like close to auto game loss. So I thought that was cool. I don't think Raul, we'd have to go back and look. I don't think Raul's running Thornton.
It doesn't. I have Raul's deck built online. I have it in person. There's no Thornton in that deck.
Yeah, and I just say Raul because he's probably one of the more prominent Lugia players right now. Has had the most success on Lugia really since Worlds. I want to say one thing about Adrian Velasco here, who won the tournament. I didn't know he was like the Michael Jordan of the Philippines, because if you go and look at his last 5 tournaments, Jared, he was April 2nd, 2023, the Philippines regional.
Wow.
First place. November 18th, 23, third place. The February 7th, May 25th of this year, 4th. And then this tournament, 1st. I mean, all he does is win, 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 no matter what.
Said that right.
Adrian Velasco. So clearly this guy knows what he's doing. And if you could look at, Jared, back at May 27th of 2017, the boy was on. He got 2nd at Jakarta running SB Garb. So this guy, he is a fan. Yeah. Someone close to your heart here. Maybe you and him, maybe you play test together and you don't tell us.
Maybe
you coach him. So
maybe the other way.
Maybe the
other way
around. Looking at the rest of this, the Roaring Moon list that got 3rd or top 4 looked identical to the World's Roaring Moon that got 2nd. The 12th place shout out Golden Go.
Yeah, man.
The same exact list that I ran, which was the same exact list that Hele ran, but whatever. Yep. So clearly, Arwen, he saw the results from Louisville and was like, Cory got worst of the day 2 Golden Goes. I'm going to run it. So good for Arwen.
Can't let that one go, can you?
No, never going to. Should have tried harder. Anything else here? 2nd place, Charizard.
The one thing that honestly stood out to me looking through all this is this was a very Philippines-centric top cut until you get down to caster extraordinaire Juancho Saldana sitting at 26 representing the U.S. Juancho, what you doing over in the Philippines, baby?
I think Pokemon might have fit the bill for Juancho to play in this tournament, is what I'm thinking happened. I don't know if that was planned, is what I'm going to say. I think Juancho planned on going down there to cast a little bit more, and then maybe was like, no, I'm just going to play. And so kudos to that guy. Yeah, 26 on Lugia. Shout out
to him. Placed 40th in Baltimore. Not a scrub. Great player.
That production crew, most of them aren't scrubs, right? I mean, They can get out there and still really play. I thought it was cool. I'm curious to see, Jared, the Great Tusk, right? It gets 27th, and then the same exact list gets 30th. So they run in the same 60. With the addition of the Mill
Durant.
What we highlighted last week on Sergi Sparks. Not sure a one-off Durant really adds any value to a Great Tusk deck. But I think it's interesting to highlight, and I like how both are using the neutralization zone stadium, because that does ideally give them an extra turn where they can't get hit through if you play it properly, or maybe hold it towards the end of the game. Do you think this deck has any ability to make more noise? Like, and we didn't talk about, is it the High Dragon? I forget how you say it. The stage 2 dark.
Oh, the Hydragen. I can never
Yeah.
pronounce it right. I know what you're talking about.
That thing is discard two dark energy, or 2 energy is discarding 3 cards off your opponent's deck. That's also coming out in Surging Spark. So there's some more mechanisms to discarding your opponent's deck. So I mean, do you think that's going to have any impact?
I don't think the stage 2 guy will. I think Durant could see some action, but I will say this. I've been playing a lot on live lately, and this is the deck that I'm seeing more than any. I've played this, and everything else comes second. I think people are seeing something in it, and I will say that all of my games have come down to the last turn. I've lost because of the stadium, just not thinking. I got rid of my vacuum. All my stadiums were gone. They played it perfectly. And other times I have no cards left in my deck, and I'm winning on my last turn. So if you imagine some type of Durant play that you're sitting on, it's just not in my mind, it's an end game play. It's not an early mid game play, and it's a one-off Durant in the deck.
Yeah, it could be a one-off Durant. I just think, maybe that is going to be the play for sure. I mean, the stage 2 guy is a little bit more, and I think that does damage too. So it would knock off the neutralization zone card. Plus, it's a EX. So
yes.
Yeah, I think it could start to see some play. I'm interested to see. I love a good mill deck. I think it could start to see some play there. I will say for next episode, I may have found a clip that was referenced in our previous episode about a certain person that thought a certain deck was perfect. And I will play that next time. We'll have Matthew find that clip. But I will say best deck in format got 6th here. Terrapagos. Dustnor. I would like everyone's attention there. And then the Dragonbolt Dustnor didn't get top 10. So you can see that there in play as well, which is a very good deck in the format too. So paired with the Dustnor, that probably is it needs to be banned and makes certain decks perfect. That may have maybe I said that's why a deck was perfect is because of the Dustnor, which is also in the Terrapagos deck. So there's some direct correlation.
I just can't wait because
next week
it feels like one of those commercials if y'all watch sports where they throw the red flag to get the replay. And I'm very excited because you're throwing the red flag, I'm throwing the red flag. I want to see what was said in that episode, and I'm very excited to have that clip.
We'll play it later next week. So anyway, very cool. 300 person tournament, Jared, so not a huge sample size here, but really no surprises. Not really any major rogue decks. The top 8 had a lot of variety. Lugia, Charizard, Pidgeot, Raging Bolt, Roaring Moon, Regidrago, Palkia, Terrapagos. Yeah, and the Raging Chat. So it's like only one, the Palkia Dustnor, there were 2 in top 8. So everything else was variety, which again goes back to, I just think, the state of Pokemon, which we love right now, is just tons of diversity in what you can play.
Okay, I was thinking about this week, and I'm totally glad you brought this up. Do you remember the last time that A-spec cards were viable, like when they were in the standard meta?
Probably 2028 or no, 2019, because of Sylveon. I think I ran the dowsing machine. So
but there weren't that many A-spec options then, right? Like we have about 30 right now.
Yeah, you were like, I bet you back then it was 70% ran computer search, which was discard 2 cards, search your deck for any card, right? And that was an item card. Then it was dowsing machine, which was discard 2 cards, put any trainer back in your hand. So it wasn't any card from your discard. It was from your discard pile. So it wasn't any card, but it was trainer. That was probably 28%. And then the other 2% were just like the randos. There was the scramble switch, which they did bring back. That in certain decks could be really, really good, but very rare. But I'd say Com Search, Jared, was like,
it was it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was legit. Like, you built 59 card decks back then because one slot was for your computer search. Like, you just why wouldn't you play a card that could search for any card? So.
Do you think the variety and the amount of ace spec cards that we have right now in the meta is a reason for the diversity of decks that we're seeing at major tournaments, or is it more so the diversity of good Pokemon, or is it both?
That's a really good question. I don't know if I want to go as far as to say that's the reason there's a lot of diversity, because I think if we went through the top 8 here, we're probably seeing 4 of these 8 have Prime Catcher, maybe 5. I don't know, but it does, like a Dragon Pult deck would be really good. But then you give it a Crystal and that makes it even better. But I think they would just run Prime Catcher and it would still be a really strong deck.
Sure.
Lugia, the Legacy energy does give it a ton of viability and makes the matches last a little longer because the prize trades are better. But I think Prime Catcher would just be really good in that deck too. And so I don't know if it makes variety. I think it brings decks that normally would never be thought of. And we're going to talk about this new A spec when we get to some Surging Spark stuff that is, I think, amplified a certain deck in Japan right now. And I think makes it extremely good because it's won a few Champion League in the last week. And that one A spec like has taken it from okay to like now it could be a top tier deck because of one A spec card that probably can't be run in any other deck except this deck that we're going to talk about. So I don't know. Maybe you're swaying me. Maybe it is why there's diversity. Maybe because there's so many A specs, Jared. There's so many of them.
There's so many, and I love it. Like even from like a collector's standpoint, you just see such a diversity of card, and that's fun. But it does. You're like, oh. I think it makes people pause and think about decks more than anything because they're like, here's this really strong card. I know I only get one of them. For most of them now, they're stipulating that they're not able to come back out of the discard. But still, you look at this card and you're like, yeah, that's really, really good. What can I build around that?
100%, man. And it's also like, you take a deck like Gardevoir, which might be the most... I don't know what the right word is, adaptable to like multiple different A specs, right? Like someone flips over Ralts and you really don't know if it's Unfair Stamp, if it's Prime Catcher. And we used to see some builds when that Neutralization Zone card came out. They were throwing that out there too, because you couldn't hit through it. And actually you could play it. So, but you play your Gardevoir deck differently depending on what A spec you have. And that's really cool. So it's like you have the same deck with 3 different types of A specs that make you play the same deck differently, more aggressive, hang back, drop the Unfair Stamp and try to pin your opponent, the Stadium Play at the end of the game. So it has increased, I think, the different variations of the same deck that you could be running based on your one A spec card. So I think you're right, man. I think it could offer some diversity for sure. Maybe that's why. Maybe Pokemon got it.
Maybe
A spec cards.
Maybe it is really, really exciting. I just think it is a super fun time to play. It feels wide open. Things are. I don't think we've had repeat back-to-back winning decks. Cory, I want to move now to talking about what you mentioned a minute ago about what is happening in Japan with a deck that is near and dear to our heart. Yep. Something we may have run at Louisville, but you're seeing it perform very well.
Man. It is. I'm just trying to go back through and make sure I have this right. So, let me double check here real fast. And yeah, so in Japan, we talk about Champions League. This isn't the Champions, like their big regional type tournaments. Those are like big Champions Leagues, right? But they do city leagues, right? So that's like Tokyo, Chiba, Shiga. You would know these. You were over there. I'm not even trying to pronounce these, but we have noticed Golden Go, which you and I, and credit to you, said, Cory, this is the deck. It plays really well in the meta. It's strong. It draws. You sold me, and I played it, and we both did. And it's like, this works. This deck works. What we're noticing in Japan, they weren't probably on the board with us, Jared. In our format, they didn't see it how you saw it. But with Surging Sparks now, you have the A spec Energy Search PRO. That's the A spec. and it allows you to search your deck for one type of energy and get as many as you want. So like you can get one fighting, one water, one, so you can't get two of the same energy. And so what they're doing here is they'll put like 4 metal, because that's what you need to actually do the attack. And then they'll have this A spec that then basically finds them 7 energy, 8, and like however many, it also can find the 1 metal to actually do the attack. So it has made this deck, Jared, from like borderline okay to now it's winning Chiba. It's winning Hokkaido. It's winning Kanagawa. I try to say all these names. And they're all different variations, right? One of the tournaments was just Gholdengo. Another one of the tournaments was Gholdengo Dustnor. It was like a 2-2 line of Dustnor. And then the one that won a Chiba was the Caesar, was a prominent play in it, which I think you had actually played against one at a side tournament. I think at Louisville. I saw that.
Yep, little side pod there.
Side pod there. Prime Catcher was the one I ran. Was my A spec. You ran Aroma, Hyper Aroma, right?
Yep.
So we each ran a different A spec in our Gholdengos at Louisville, which were both in situations are great, right? There would be times where I needed to find a bunch of Gholdengos and I couldn't find them. There were probably times where you wished you could get the guaranteed gust off of something after using a supporter with the Prime Catcher.
100%.
But Jared, this one A spec, like we just talked about in the last segment, has made Gholdengo, at least in Japan, a top tier deck. It's either A tier, I won't say it's S tier, but it's winning, Jared. So like one Surging Spark A spec card. Now they also included, there was a new Gimme Ghoul that they incorporated that it's not, this is like in a worst case scenario, but for a 1 colorless energy, the move is called Minor Errand Running, and it can search your deck for 2 basic energy cards. And the Gholdengo has 70 HP, so it's a little bit more. There's that other Gholdengo that had like 50 HP, so that is also in this deck as well. But those are the only 2 new cards that we don't have access to: is the Gholdengo and the Energy Search PRO. So one card takes a deck that was okay and good to now great. And I think Surging Sparks, maybe we're going to start to see this, Jared. We're like, one card can bring back a deck or make one that was okay now a top tier deck because of just one simple A spec edition.
I agree. I don't think anyone's out there saying to themselves, Gholdengo is not a good deck. And there are so many of these decks that are sitting right on the tier of upping their percentage in day 1 or day 2 play, but it's just missing something. And the interesting thing that you brought up is, I ran this A spec Hyper Aroma, you ran Prime Catcher. What we both probably still struggled with in a lot of our matches was getting energy early game, because Earthen Vessel is our best find card. And other than that, you're having to draw into it. If they get something big up quick, you're in trouble. Now, let's talk about what's coming with Surging Sparks, this Duraludon that everybody is freaking out about, a stage 1 300 health. I think Gholdengo has a great matchup into that based on the numbers, but it's very difficult for that deck to hit 300 that quickly. Like, you've got to hit the right combination of cards. So throw in this. I'm not afraid of Duraludon. Bring on the Duraludon. Let's go. Let's go.
I didn't even think about that. You're so smart, because that's right. The Energy Search PRO is strong turn 2. Like, because by then you don't, all your energy should still be in your deck. And you're right, swinging for 600, which is what kills Archelodon.
300, 6 energy.
All right, 6 energy. Did I say 600?
Yeah, you were.
Can you imagine?
You're freaking people out.
Broken. It's 300, but yeah, 6 energy. So you energy RPO, you get the 1 metal and then the 6 other energy. Boom. Like that's GG. Like, that was always the difficult part with the Gholdengo in that tournament. Was it was that thing going second. Can you even get to 240 and knock out a Raging Bolt, right? Or 250, 5 energy was kind of the key in a lot of those matches. The Regidragos, the 220, the Lugias at 220. Like, you have to get those knockouts to win the prize trades. Yeah, I think it's great. Can I say one other addition that they've put into their Gholdengos? All 3 of these Gholdengos that won these city leagues, you know what they had?
I can't wait to hear. I don't know.
Iron Bundle.
I love I
had
that's what I ran the
No.
bundle. I ran the
ran-
bundle.
I'm telling you,
And
Jared.
I lost my first match because I ran the bundle.
But you have it like in your mind. We're in the hotel room and you're like, I'm putting this in because when they throw that weird one prizer out there, I don't want it. I want them to switch to the two prizer and get the knockout. And I was like, I don't know. And then it didn't work super well for you. So I thought, yeah, that was a great call not to do it. And then I look at these 3 Japanese decks and they all have it. So, Jared, you're just always ahead of your time. That's your issue. Is you're just too fast for everybody. You need to just come back down, baby.
I'm playing in the Japanese meta, baby. I'm too much. Nope. Yep. Lost that first match. Didn't have the Manafi. Put in the Iron Bundle. But I agree. And I want to take a brief side note to talk about Iron Bundle. I think it's a great card in any deck right now for what you just said. People want to trade the prize map right now by throwing that one prizer at you, but it's usually not often paired with another one prizer on their bench. So I just think it's a smart play right now. You saw it in, we were talking about the Lugia builds of some of our great NA players like Raul. He has it in there. It works in any deck. It's easy to stretch her out of your discard pile so you can get rid of it early and find it later.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to worry about is something crazy like a Klefki shutting down its abilities.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that, and I think, honestly, Klefki might start to have a little comeback here with some of the ways it can shut down the abilities. I was thinking of that the other night playing on live, and I thought, oh, man, I think Klefki. But, yeah, that's the only thing that really stops something like this. And I think it gives you options. I think it does, and clearly they did too. And they're not running Manafi. They're not. These 3 different decks in 3 different Japanese cities. So it's not like these are all, but maybe they're friends, but they're in different places, are all running different types of versions of this Golden Go, but with that same card, that Energy PRO, and then the Iron Bundle. So I don't know, man. I think that's cool. I think we're going to see more of these. I got excited for another Ace Spec card in Surging Sparks that you quickly poo-pooed, and it was the it was the Megaton Blower, and I'm just like, in a certain control deck, that could be.
Can you tell us what the card does?
I'm sorry. Megaton Blower, it's an item card. It says discard all Pokemon tools and special energy from all your opponent's Pokemon and discard a stadium. So if I'm just in the lens of my control committee buddies, and if I'm on Snorlax, I usually feel pretty good into all my matches, except when they flip over the Lugia. And it is just like, this is an uphill battle. I can't Giacomo 4 times in one turn. This is going to be hard. If I have a plethora of Ace Specs I can run in Snorlax. Plethora. This one probably makes the most sense because now in one and you said in the text, it only helps in this matchup. Well, guess what, Jared? I only need it to help in this matchup. So give me Megaton Blower, put it in Snorlax. I'm going to whisper because I want to run this in San Antonio. This changes the game, Jared, in that terrible, terrible matchup. Now becomes very, very, very favorable because Jamming Tower sucks against Snorlax. All those special energies are all over the place. Boom. It discards all of them. All of them. I'm going to say it a third time. All of them. Jared, that's crazy.
I don't know what's more likely, or maybe I should say less likely, is you actually getting to play in San Antonio or Snorlax with this new Ace Spec winning.
Hey, my beautiful, amazing wife said I could play. So and it may have been late at night. And we are pregnant right now, so she'll probably claim pregnancy brain or something. But she said it. I should have got it on recording. She said it. She doesn't listen to this podcast, so she won't be able to defend herself. But no, it's happening, Jared. January 24th, we're going, baby. Snorlax, Megaton Blower. That's the play. So, but I think that's a really good card in the Snorlax deck, and I'm gonna bring it back to when we do some predictions for Gdansk. I don't know how you say it.
Gdansk.
For Gdansk this weekend. But anyway, that energy search PRO, the Megaton Blower, and then my last card, and then I don't know if you have another one for Searching Sparks. Gravity Mountain. We're seeing a lot of play in Japan right now. Gravity Mountain's a stadium. Each stage 2 Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponents, get 30 less HP. And when you really start thinking about Charizard back to 300, some of those new EXs at 320 an hour at 290, Dragapults at 290. It's big in a lot of Archelodon decks. I think we're going to see a lot of Gravity Mountain plays, like a one of in some of these decks, just to help.
I agree.
Some of the weird energy counts or HP counts.
And I think the reason for that is it's ever since you've been able to knock out a Pokemon on your turn without attacking, that is so engaging. So engaging for people. Think about the Urshifu and Teleon decks that we saw last season with the Metacham. Like, you have to, it's like you said a couple episodes ago with Dusknoir. Now you have to plan for, oh my goodness, my Charizard has 300 damage on it. If they play that stadium, I'm knocked out.
I didn't think of it like that. I also, what a world we could have been in with Metacham, Inteleon, and Dusknoir.
Oh, no. That would have just been, I would have been so.
I would have waited for the format to change. I wouldn't have played in that.
If Expanded still is out there, you just got the world's deck.
There would potentially be like, by the third turn, they just scoop all 6 prizes, and you don't ever get to go because it's just like it's over. It's over. That would
that is filthy.
Be very disappointing. But yeah, I think Gravity Mountain, Jared, watch it. And you mentioned Counter Gain last time. That's probably going to be one of the most popular ones out of the set. But I think Gravity Mountain will make some noise. So
I don't disagree with you. I think it's going to be strong. I think it's just going to be more good cards. My biggest fear right now is the Duraludon becoming, 40+% of the meta, which I hope it doesn't, because it doesn't seem very. It's like the Zacian of old. This is not very complicated and or fun. It's very straightforward and simple, but it's just the most broken thing out there. So everybody's going to run it.
Yeah.
And there's no creativity. So I'm not saying don't play it. I think it can be good, but I don't want to see it become that part of the meta share.
Yeah, it's hard. When those stage ones, it's 2 instead of a rare candy play. It finds energy for itself. Like again, it's not knocking everything out, right? It's hitting 220. So you're not like one-shotting stuff, or it would probably get banned at that point. So it's not perfect, but if they're running those Turos, or they're properly playing the Relicanth to use the bottom move, that is then one-shotting a bunch of stuff. I think that's going to be the mirror play match, because it'll hit 220 into another Archelodon, but then the bottom move is 80 plus however many damage counters are on you. So then that's 80 plus 220, which is 300. So that I could see that as your mirror match kind of, turn the tides a little bit play. But we'll see. We're getting in the weeds of it. But yeah,
another reason I like Goldingo. We don't do damage unless we knock you out. We don't believe in that.
I will pass. I don't got it. Pass. It's just just okay. Moving on.
Moving forward.
Mia Rodham in there. I don't know. Just instant charge.
Well, before we go to a break and move into talking about the new app that's out, I would love to talk about Gdansk. I would love to talk about what you think is switching. I'm not sure. Is Surging Sparks going to be playable in Gdansk?
No, I think it comes out Friday.
Right.
Friday. And then it'll be playable for the next tournament, which is what is it? I had it pulled up here.
Well, let's just assume we're still in a Stellar Crown. It's what?
A special event in Buenos Aires.
Oh, okay.
November 9th.
Fear the Chileans down in Argentina, my friend. Fear them.
They're coming. They know.
Right, we're still in a Stellar Crown world. The last big tournament that we really have to go off of is what we saw not that far away from Gdansk in France, in Lille. So anything changing, or do you think this is coin toss, decks are all the same? Will we see some innovation? What are your thoughts looking at that tournament?
Jared, to understand the future, you have to go back to the past. And I looked to last year on the 25th of November, 2023. It was a 997 person tournament at this same venue. And you know what won? Snorlax. And Lucas Maskowitz, which I probably butchered your name. I'm so sorry. He took this sucker down on Snorlax. Give me stall to win Gdansk this tournament, I don't know if it's Lucas necessarily, but I think Stahl shows up. I think every time people forget about it, that's when the big boy, the big Snorlax, comes sliding right in and takes the dub. Give me Stahl. I think that's going to be a change in this tournament. I think there's going to be some control and some Stahl because we're not seeing any of that right now. None of that is being played or even having much success this tournament, Jared. It will.
Well, let me piggyback off of what you just said. I'm going to take it back, as you said, looking to the past to look to the future. Let's go back to the tournament. We were at Louisville. Simon Fang from Canada, Snorlax, 13th. Okay.
All right.
Solid finish.
Decent.
Oh, let's fast forward to France. Oh, Roan, 3rd place.
Oh,
Snorlax.
Yeah.
Seems to be getting better. I like a stall play here, Cory. Like, I like it. It's strong. It still needs the right pathway, just like all decks do. It can't run into Lugia, like you said, again and again and again. And Lugia is still a very strong share of the meta. But there are no perfect answers right now. And I think it's the perfect time for it to slip in because everyone is teching not for it.
Everyone is teching not for it. And when you're like deciding like what new fun cards should I put in this new deck, your brain does not go to Switch. It does not go to Switch cart. It's not, another Turo. Those cards go out of your deck because you're like, I want to put aggressive fun cards in here. So and that's just what the Snorlax wants. That's good. You don't have. There are some games I was playing on the Terrapagos that on live, and also same with I was running a Ryuki's Dragon Pult, where I sit there and I'm always like in a Snorlax state of mind, where I'm like, I played the Prime Creature in the Switch. I'm glad I'm not playing Snorlax because these decks don't have a lot of pivots to get out of stuff like that. And I think it's going to win. I'm with you.
I like it. It's one of the most paralyzing things to play against when your opponent does more with your deck than you get to in a match. Oh, Misfortune Sisters. I'll play Flute. Oh, it's fine. And they're looking at your cards and you're not allowed to look at them. It's infuriating. I'm like, have you washed your hands?
Yeah.
Like what are you doing?
Yeah, it should be like I'll fan out 5 and show them to you. And you tell me 1, 3, and 4, and I'll discard them promptly. But yeah, don't touch them, please. Don't touch my deck.
I like it. I'll be rooting for a stall. It's just fun to keep seeing. If not stall, I think we're looking at another Raging Bolt win. That's just my thoughts. It just has ways around so many of the things that people are trying to do to slow other things down. It has a way. It's not perfect, but it has a way.
Yeah. Maybe I could see Tord on a Raging Bolt, something that normally he wouldn't play. But
a Raging Bolt Pidgeot with Dusknoir and some kind of radiant card that no one's played in 3 years.
Radiant Venusaur and 1/1 Bibarel, and that'll be just draw to make sure that he gets every single card. We just haven't had a Tord win in a while, so it's kind of like it was like back in the heyday of Tiger Woods. It was like Tiger hasn't won a tournament in a month, so he's probably due.
He's lurking. What about Tord on stall? I mean, I know he's done some Pidgeot things in the past, but
not enough draw for Tord. I think there's still, as much as I hate to admit, there's some more luck I think involved in stall because you don't. If they get your Rodham, you're kind of top decking. And I don't Tord doesn't like that. Tord likes to draw 50,000 cards. So I don't think he's going to do Snore. He would do Pidgeot control. We've seen him do that. I don't think he would do stall.
That's fair enough. Well, we're going to take a break real quick. When we come back, we're going to talk some new Pokemon applications and have some education as well. So we'll be right back.
Can't wait.
Welcome back, everybody. Just a reminder again, especially as we get into this section of the podcast about stray collections, I believe we still have the Teach 10 discount going on where you can get 10% off your next purchase. A lot of cool things that they're doing. Be sure to check out their social media.
And the blue light special goes off too. No, I'm just sitting up here. For the podcast listeners, there's a blue light.
doesn't play well in that media.
Yeah. Check out YouTube.
Cory, we have a new app out, and I'm obsessed with it. I
know we led with it at the top. It's called Pokemon TCGP. What's the
Yep.
G? The card.
Trading. That's a great question.
Trading card game Pokemon?
Pocket.
Oh, Pocket. Okay.
Trading TCGP. Trading card game Pocket. Just call it Pokemon Pocket.
Pocket. Okay. Well, so I'm on here. Now, obviously I play a lot of live, right? Which is just built to play the game, right? You're not the
Right.
collecting aspect isn't important. But so you mentioned this is the game that everybody should be playing.
It's Pokemon Light
It's Pokemon Light. Okay.
for
That should be
trading cards, for the
in
trading card world.
So how do I get more? So like I was opening some packs and that was fun, and then I ran out of what do they call it? Stamina. Like I ran out of.
Yes, you don't. You have to wait until your timer goes off again to get another free pack.
But you said you can battle on here.
Oh yes, there is a battle application down there at the bottom. You have to be level 3, which takes about 30-40 minutes to get there. You have to go through some different things, but it offers a miniature version of what we in the TCG get to play at League online. And I'd love to spend a few minutes just talking through what the differences are for those that are curious. Okay. So, biggest thing is this is a 20 card deck, Corey.
Okay.
20 card deck. You need 3 knockouts to win.
Okay.
Okay. The weirdest and biggest change is that there are no energy.
What?
You have the ability every turn to take a single type of energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. So you just have it. It's like having an infinite one of a certain type of energy in it. So you determine what your energy type is going to be for your deck. It doesn't change.
Well, what if I need 2 different types of energy?
Well, I'm just playing through the basics right now, so that may be, but right now it's like you have one energy type.
Sure.
You drag and drop it to where you want, and then for the most part, all of the other rules are kept in. There's Pokemon with abilities. You can't attack your first turn. I don't even think you can attach an energy your first turn. I may be off on that. And then you're just battling much the same way, but it's very simplified in the tutorials. You have the ability to rent decks, make decks. You have some really cool things in here, but what I like about it is that it just goes quick. It's quick, Corey.
Okay.
Like the amount of time some of these games take on live, I just don't have it. I don't have it. And it seems even in its first release to just be running simpler and better than the live app does. There's no crashes. There's no weird stuff. I think this is the perfect on-ramp to, if you like this, go ahead and give what we play in the big leagues a try. Go ahead and give a 60-card deck. But this is the perfect way to introduce people to the basics. There's retreating. There is switching. There is status effects. All of the things that we know and love are in there. Plus, even in the tutorials, there is some older cards in there that get redone to fit a format. So, example, there's a Greninja in there that does Moonlight Shuriken as an ability. Put 2 damage counters on any Pokemon. Just has an ability. Put 2 damage counters on any Pokemon. Most hilarious things.
End the show now. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. No.
Funniest part so far is Professor's research. Draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards because you only have 20. You only have 20 cards in the deck.
Discard your hand, draw 7, and I lose.
And you lose.
And I deck out. Okay, draw 2 cards. So there are like supporters or trainer cards.
Supporters, trainers. Haven't seen any tool cards yet. Again, I've been playing this for an hour, but I think it's pretty fun. And then they've just built in so many more ways to get packs and packs and packs. So there's so much to do. You're battling. You're earning your way to get more packs. It still feels like it's more collection based. They haven't enabled the ability yet to like send me a pack, send you a pack, which will come into big play for us on a daily basis when I'm sure there'll be some type of bet leveraged because we're always talking about, oh, you got to send me a pack, you owe me a pack. But Corey, this is for you. They thought of you when they did this.
Yes. For me, it doesn't sound like it's for me.
So there is a feature, and I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna pull it up real quick so I can tell you exactly what it is. But I think this is the part of the game that you will become absolutely obsessive about, and it's concerning. There is a function in there called Wonder Pick.
Okay. I was doing that in the car, but I don't know what I did.
Pretty much what happens is someone else opens a pack. And you spend a commodity to get a chance at winning one of the cards of their packs.
Okay.
It's like Pokemon lottery is what it feels like. So you scroll through and then you're like, oh, that person opened up the Gyarados full art. I need the Gyarados full art. So the better the card, the higher it is to like get one of the cards from their pack. So like right now I'm looking at some and it's like, I don't really need anything. That just costs 1. Oh, full art, that costs 3. So I'm like, I don't have very many of these things. I'll spend 3. And then I get they reshuffle the pack, turn them all on the back, and you pick one of the 5 cards.
So am I taking your card from you?
And it says that. They thought about this. They said in the thing, like, this person does not lose the card. But in essence, it's just another way for you to get more cards and potentially hit it. But there's that. It's like what we used to do at tournaments. We would open up packs. We would bring people around us, and we'd fan them out and say, "Hey, you can pick one card."
That's true. We used to do that all the time.
You can pick one card.
Yeah.
It's just it's a fun way. But when I did this, I was like, oh, Corey's in trouble.
I was confused. I was like at a stoplight. Not that I endorse playing this game and driving, but I might have been. And there was a part where it said like, yeah, one, and then all the cards went down. But I thought it was a pack that I opened.
No, you look. It has
did I
other
do there,
people's
then?
usernames, and literally you can just scroll and scroll and scroll until you see something that you like. Like right now, I'm looking
Where do I find that? Is it on the home
page, and you can go to Wonder Pick.
Wonder Pick. Oh,
And then it tells you also which pack they open. A genetic Apex Mewtwo, a Pikachu, a Charizard, because apparently different ones have different drop rates. So really, really interesting stuff. And it feels deep already. Like there's so many different achievements you can get. They're making it really fun. One of my favorite features, and then we'll hop into our education moment, is when you select a pack, you can actually turn it on its back and open it backwards so that when you're revealing the cards,
oh,
it flips
that
them.
did that. Okay. All right. I'm doing a wonder. This guy had a full art Snorlax.
Oh,
Okay. And here, so there's 5, right? Okay. I'm gonna do the top, bottom left. No, bottom right, top right. No, Jigglypuff. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. So now that was it.
that was it.
I don't get to dive
So,
back
but
in.
it's a different currency that you can buy.
Yeah.
And we're really going to see how this opens up. I'll also mention they have a 2-week free trial of their premium pass, and then it's $9.99 a month. So if you want some more pack openings, you can do that. For whatever reason, it's not working on my phone. Pokemon support helped me out. But it feels fun, man. And especially off the bat, it feels like you can earn achievements so quick. I could open 10 packs right now if I wanted to. That's how many points I have.
Okay.
Just sitting there.
Jeez, Jared. Okay, I have 2 more Wonder tokens that I can use. I can use 2 on Cyclone, which is a friend of ours, Cyclone here. And then on Teach Me Pokemon on you. You don't have this pack. You don't have anything good in here. This was a bad one. I don't want
I will be, from here on out, my son will be opening up all of my packs, and I will very quickly rise to the top as having the most prominent collection.
He is the best pack opener I've ever seen. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I think this is fun. I think this does. I'm curious to try the battle. I think that's an interesting new way. You know, forever it was just like you just played the card, like the normal Pokemon game, 60 cards. Now we're just in a different world. Like GLC is very popular. There we go to these side events and there's different little formats you can do now. This one obviously is different. Like I think that's fun to see different variations of the game to kind of introduce it to people. So, okay, I'm with you.
Give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot.
I'll be on and off it all day. We'll next episode we'll throw up what our user IDs are. We would love to send you packs. Send us pack. We'll have some fun. I know I'll be sending irate text messages to my friends when I decide to wonder pick one of their packs and I don't get what I want.
And we put some wagers down on it. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As soon as that pack sending feature is open, you better believe Cory and I will be exchanging mini packs. Mini packs will be going back and forth.
We'll exchange it on the show tw. We'll just start exchanging packs with some of our viewers.
Love it. Love it. So, but that's just a quick look at that. Again, there's a lot we don't know. It's not necessarily our lane to super deep dive this, but we just wanted, for those of you that are giving it a shot. We wanted you to try it, know what you're in for, and we'll see how it evolves over time.
Cool. All right, my brother. Education moment. What are we doing? How are you educating us today besides playing this new game all the time? Or not playing it all the time?
I do really love the new game, but I have a different education moment for you today.
This doesn't have to do with screen time, like limiting screen time.
No. I
Okay.
am going to encourage everyone to go out and trick or treat.
Oh, in like
Wha-
your pumpkaboo outfits and your
Absolutely. Why? Because there are TCG packs made specifically for trick or treating that people will be handing out this year.
What?
I bought 70 packs yesterday.
What? You're handing out packs?
I'm handing out packs,
Real packs
real packs,
at your house.
maybe.
Are you serious?
Yes. So they're mini packs. They're 3-card packs. They're very inexpensive. You can buy. I think I bought 70 packs yesterday for $40 at Walmart.
Oh my gosh.
And I'll be handing them out to some of our Pokéchess vendors. I'll be handing them out to a lot of different people. Might pop open a few myself. But
What?
go trick-or-treating because you may come home with Pokemon cards.
Wow. If I knew that, I would dress up. I mean, I would go trick-or-treating by myself. I would just start. I'd say, see ya. Bye.
That weird 36-year-old man is at the door again.
It's the same Pikachu outfit. He just keeps going.
So I'll end the podcast with a story that I may have told once before, but it bears retelling.
Okay.
When I was 19 years old in the Grinder tournament in
Yeah.
Orlando, I believe this was
20. Dude, no, not
2008.
2008. Yeah, you can't say
2008.
like,
Yeah,
that's like 2010. That's
2008.
Yeah.
And I played against a 40-year-old man dressed up as a Pikachu from Canada,
Yeah.
whose weakness I had, and I lost. And it was a real low point for me individually. But what I didn't realize, Cory, is how ahead of the times that man was. Because I don't know that I'll ever dress up as Pikachu,
Yeah.
but I may in 5 short years, it may be socially acceptable.
Yeah.
That man was a forerunner. He was a pioneer.
Yeah.
He was doing things where that may not have been socially acceptable almost 18 years ago, that now when I look around a tournament.
Yeah. I will say this. You know, we're big. We love a good, at least me. I love a good time travel show. Like I'm a sucker for it. You know, if there's time travel in it, I'm into it. And you know, you mentioned the year, and then you said a 19-year-old, and I forgot we weren't even like able to drink back then. We were still teenagers at that Worlds. And when we always have said 40-year-old Pikachu man, I just have pictured this old guy, right? I remember looking at him, and now I'm like, maybe that was you back in time playing.
He was ethnically very similar. Maybe I moved to Canada.
You could be Canadian in 4 years. I mean, realistically, our star junior Elijah could in 4 years be at Worlds. You would be 40, and you maybe have lost a bet, and now where you have to dress up as Pikachu during the whole tournament. And that could be you in 4 years. And then you would have become the 40-year-old man dressed as Pikachu. And everything comes full circle. Wow. I'm having like an existential moment. Go trick or treat, get your Pikachu outfits out, and just remember, think of Jared. Think of Jared losing to the Pikachu man. But you did redeem yourself and you won the final round. You did win that final round.
That mom had running Flygon had no idea what was coming her way.
She had
nor did she know what most of her cards did, but that doesn't matter.
She was asking you, what do I do now? No, your Empazong was ahead of its time again. You just were a little too smart for your own good there. But well, cool. We'll be trick-or-treating. Our son, you know, your kids are older. Our kid is 2, and my wife and I have tried to put together he was into Trash Truck. It's a Netflix show. And we are going to try to build a trash truck on his cart thing, and we were painting it last night. Painstaking at like 11:30 at night. That was not what I wanted to be doing, but we were painting it. So we'll see. He'll sit in it for about 4.5 seconds, and then it'll be me pulling that around for an hour in the neighborhood. So whatever. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I do love a good Halloween trick or treating, dressing up. That always was fun. So
It's good. And yet, if you would have convinced him to dress up like any Pokemon character, it'd probably be 2 a.m. in the morning, and you're toting him around on your shoulders proudly.
I was telling you this story on the phone. I'll end with my story. You had a story. I'll tell the story. You know, we do bath time before he goes to bed, and he has all these little characters, like whatever, like a fish or a elephant or whatever. But then my wife, because she's great, she bought these 4 Pokemon little characters that he plays with in the tub. And it's a Pikachu, of course. It's a Charmander, a Squirtle, and then the 4th one by chance was Snorlax, which is amazing. And I found myself earlier in the week or late last week, I'm just battling on the edge of the bathtub. Snorlax versus Pikachu, Charmander, and Squirtle. My son Ellis he's playing with other stuff. I had no idea what he was even doing. I was battling, but I wasn't like, tackle. I was like, block, like the ability block. And I was playing that Pikachu couldn't retreat. And then I would just win. And then I was playing imaginary supporters like Eerie. And I was discarding 2 switches out of their hand. Like just, and then like literally 5 minutes go by and I'm getting loud while I'm doing this battle. And my wife, Lauren, was like, what is going on in there? I was like, oh, don't worry about it. We're playing. And where my son had no idea he wasn't playing. I was playing. So that it makes bath time more fun for dad. And he can play with
I love it. Just a bunch of Pokemon nerds, man. It's just too good. Well, Cory, whether you're trick-or-treating, whether you're on an app, whether it's bath time, or whether you're sitting down to a regional next year or this weekend in Europe,
Sure.
Enjoy it. And we will catch you next week, and I'll catch you later.
You can find us at roguemedianetwork.com. Teach Me Pokemon Podcast. Come and dive with us.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.